wild how they spent years trying to break you, and now they can't stop staring like you're some glitch in their reality. Funny how the same people who once called you average, lost, or not going anywhere are suddenly acting like you're some top-secret project that escaped the lab. They whisper to each other like scared kids, asking the same question over and over. Who's helping them? Who's behind all this? Cute, isn't it? The panic, the confusion, the way their voices shake when they say your name, like the universe just dropped a plot twist they were never prepared for. They look at you now and choke on their own predictions. Remember when they said you'd fail? Look who's trying not to bow now. Remember when they laughed at your silence? Now your silence is the loudest thing in the room. The storm hit, it passed, and you're still standing like the villain who walked out of the flames without a scratch. And the best part? They can't figure out how you pulled it off. They're convinced someone must be feeding you answers, holding your hand, guiding your every move. Press the like button and subscribe to pay this message back. See, chosen one, they can't handle the idea that you did this without their approval, their support, or their permission. It kills them that you rebuilt yourself in the dark, where their opinions couldn't reach you. They've been watching closely, but they missed everything that mattered. They missed the nights you broke and rebuilt yourself. They missed the moments where the universe whispered back to you after everyone else went silent. They missed the hunger, the grit, the quiet rage that shaped you into someone they no longer recognize. They walk around pretending they know your story, but they only witness the highlight reel. They didn't see you crawling out of the ruins of everything you once believed in. They didn't see how many times you nearly gave up. They didn't see you get torn apart by people you trusted, only to rise with new eyes and a colder heart. They don't know the version of you that was made from scraped knees, sleepless nights, and a hope so thin it almost snapped. They only know the version standing here today, and that version terrifies them. You want a real story? Here's one. There was a moment, months ago, where you felt like the whole world was closing in. Everything you touched fell apart. Every door slammed in your face. Every voice told you to settle for less. And one night, when you felt like disappearing, something inside you snapped into place. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it was final. You stood up, wiped your face, and said, "Enough." That was the moment you met the real guide behind everything. Not a mentor, not a leader, not a team. It was the version of you that saw through every lie, the version of you that didn't care about fitting in, the version of you that finally realized you were done playing by rules designed to keep you small. That's what they're sensing now, that shift, that evolution. The universe opened a door for you, and you walked through it like you owned it. You didn't ask for permission. You didn't tell anyone your next move. You just moved. And that scares your enemies more than any threat ever could. You're not the same person who begged for crumbs. You're the one quietly building things that will outlive their gossip. They keep dissecting your every step, like investigators searching for fingerprints. They analyze your posts, your words, your timing, your silence. They try matching your progress to some known strategy, but nothing lines up. Nothing makes sense to them. You're moving too smooth, too calculated, too unbothered. They don't understand that your real blueprint came from places they've never survived. It came from disappointments that broke most people. It came from pain that sharpened your instincts. It came from loneliness that forced you to hear the universe when everyone else drowned it out with noise. And here's the secret that hits them the hardest. Something has been helping you, something has been guiding you, something has been pushing you forward every time they tried to hold you back. But it's not what they think. It's not a hero in a cape or a mastermind in a tower. It's not some rich backer or a wise teacher. It's the force you created when you finally understood your worth. It's the universe stepping in because you dared to rise when everything told you to fall. They don't have that. They can't replicate that. They can't steal that. They can't fake that. So when they ask, who's helping you, let them stay confused. Let them dig. Let them panic. Because the answer is closer than they think. It's you, the version of you they never saw coming. So, chosen one, you felt the shift already, the whispers, the questions, the eyes tracking your every move. They're obsessed with figuring out who's guiding you, who's building you, who's feeding you this unstoppable momentum. Before we go any deeper, seal your spot in this moment. Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment with 777 to show you're one of the few who actually understands what's happening here. This isn't just support. It's you locking in your place among people who move differently, think differently, and rise from places the world swore would bury them. Let them wonder how you keep winning. Let them choke on the mystery while you grow stronger with every truth you uncover. And now, chosen one, we're stepping into the real story piece by piece. If you truly carry that energy they can't decode, you'll feel the pull to stay through every second of what comes next. The universe didn't bring you here for entertainment. It brought you here for revelation. So take a breath, settle in, and let's begin unfolding exactly why they keep asking, who's helping you? And why the real answer hits closer than they ever expected. Number 1. The question that keeps them up at night. Funny how the same people who prayed for your downfall are now begging for the name of the ghost holding you up. They can't stand it, chosen one. Your rise feels personal to them, like you broke some unspoken rule that said you were supposed to stay small. And now they're obsessed, digging through your life like desperate detectives, convinced your success must belong to someone else. They don't believe you earned it. They don't believe you built it. They don't even believe you think this sharply on your own. Their minds simply can't stretch far enough to accept the truth. Because if you really did this without a mentor, without a guide, without some genius mastermind pulling your strings, then that means something terrifying for them. You did it with nothing but yourself. And that makes you dangerous in ways they never planned for. They tell each other, nobody rises this fast alone. Oh, look who's sweating now. They scroll through your posts like addicts, take screenshots of your wins, replay your moves like soldiers reviewing battlefield footage. They want to spot the hand behind you, the voice whispering your strategy, the secret person feeding you the answers. But every time they think they're close, they hit a dead end. Every theory collapses. Every assumption falls apart. They can't find anything because there's nothing to find. You didn't borrow power. You became it. And the more they can't figure it out, the crazier they get. Some even whisper, "There's no way this is just them. Someone's helping, someone's teaching, someone's backing this." They need a name. They need a person to blame. They need something, anything that lets them sleep at night without accepting that you outgrew them while they weren't paying attention. Why do they care so much? Why are they this pressed about your rise? Simple. Your success exposes their excuses. Every step you take forward reminds them of their own stagnation. You moved without validation, without applause, without anyone clapping in the background, and that burns them because they've spent their whole lives waiting for permission. You didn't. You chose yourself, and that's what makes you a threat. Let's be real. They saw you fall. They saw you break. They saw you disappear into the shadows they thought would swallow you whole. So when you reappeared, stronger, sharper, colder, they didn't know how to process it. There was no mentor tagged in your story, no motivational coach posting your progress, no group cheering your comeback. You came back like a villain who built an empire in a basement everyone forgot existed. Quiet, calculated, untouchable. And the universe watched you rebuild piece by piece, turning pain into precision. That's what they can't comprehend. They don't understand transformations that happen in silence. They don't understand growth born from being underestimated. They don't recognize strength that isn't loud, so they invent stories. They create imaginary mentors. They assign your power to anyone but you. Who's helping them? Who's training them? Who's giving them this game? You want the real punchline? Their questions aren't about admiration. They're about fear. They're scared you're not supposed to be this good. They're scared you're not supposed to be this calculated. They're scared you're not supposed to be this aware of their motives. So if they can convince themselves someone else is guiding you, it gives them comfort. It means you're not inherently powerful. It means you're not naturally a problem. It means someone else is the real threat, not you. They're wrong, of course, but let them keep believing that lie if it helps them sleep. At this point in the story, you might even be asking yourself, why does it bother them this much? Why are they so obsessed with my guidance? Because if they admit you did all of this alone, they'd have to admit they never really knew you. They'd have to admit they underestimated someone who was always 10 steps ahead. They'd have to admit you played the game better than they ever could. They'd have to admit you beat them without touching them. And nothing humiliates an enemy more than realizing the person they tried to break rebuilt themselves into someone unstoppable with no external help, no savior, no puppet master, just grit. Just clarity, just that cold fire inside you that they never respected until it was too late. Think back to your past. Remember that moment. Everyone has one where you felt completely abandoned. No support, no guidance, no hand reaching out, just you and your mess. They thought that moment would finish you. They thought that was the chapter where you'd stay stuck forever. But instead, that's the chapter where you met the strongest version of yourself. That moment turned you into someone they'll be studying for years. You learned to think differently, move differently, cut differently. You learned to read people without them opening their mouths. You learned to protect your energy like a vault. You learned to trust the universe more than you trusted human promises. That version of you is the one rising now, the one they can't explain, the one that feels like it came out of nowhere, the one they swear must be backed by someone powerful. They're right. You are backed by someone powerful. You. They don't want to believe that, so they're hunting for a shadow figure that doesn't exist. They want to expose your mentor, but all they'll ever expose is their own insecurity. They want to discredit your rise, but all they'll ever do is highlight how far behind they really are. They want to know who helped you, but the truth is simpler and more humiliating than anything they could imagine. No one coached your intuition, no one trained your resilience, no one gave you your timing, your insight, your instinct for danger, your precision under pressure. That came from surviving things they'd never last 5 minutes in. The universe didn't spoon-feed you answers. It handed you situations that forced you to evolve, and evolve you did. So let them keep asking the same tired question. Let them tear apart your life, searching for clues. Let them make up stories, build theories, and accuse nameless people of shaping you. Let them stay confused. Let them stay pressed. Let them stay obsessed, because the answer they're chasing is already in the mirror they refuse to look into. They keep asking, who's helping you? And every time, your silence hits them harder than any answer ever could. The truth is closer than they think. Number 2. The smile that ruins their entire investigation. Nothing rattles an enemy more than a smile they can't decode. Your silence confused them, your comeback terrified them, but your smile, that broke them. They wanted answers. You gave them calmness. That's why they panic. When the blueprint doesn't match the builder, the inspectors start losing their minds. They hate your smile, chosen one. Hate it with a special kind of fear they don't have a name for yet. They've run every test, scanned every angle, compared every move, and still nothing. You don't match any system they've seen. You don't follow any mentor they recognize. You don't sound like anybody who trained under someone famous. You don't move like someone who copied a winning formula. Your entire energy feels custom-built, handcrafted, stitched together by nights and battles you never spoke about. And that smile of yours, that smile is the final glitch in their entire investigation. Imagine this, a group of people sitting in a dim room, replaying your life like detectives reviewing footage. They pause the screen when you smile, zoom in, hoping the curve of your lips will betray something, a clue, a teacher, a strategy. But it never does. All they see is someone who survived hell with a grin sharp enough to cut through every lie they told about you. Your smile is too calm, too certain, too earned. They know fake confidence. They know borrowed strength. They know the high-pitched, shaky smile of someone pretending to be okay. But yours is the kind forged in fire, the kind that says, I got through what you'd never survive, and that makes their stomach drop. Here's what they never say out loud. Your smile exposes them. It exposes how wrong they were. It exposes how deeply they underestimated you. It exposes how little control they have now. They used to be the ones who made you second-guess yourself. Now your calmness makes them question everything they thought they understood. And that's the truth. They're not confused because they don't know your blueprint. They're confused because you don't have one. You built yourself outside the grid, outside their categories, outside their expectations. They can't file you under self-help follower, motivational student, guided prodigy, or team-powered rise. None of the usual labels apply. You were supposed to break, Instead, you broke the mold. You might even ask yourself right now, why does my smile bother them so much? Why does it trigger this much chaos? Because it breaks the illusion they depended on. It proves you didn't need their approval. You didn't need their support. You didn't need their blueprint. You didn't need their permission to rise. Your smile tells them you were always capable. You just stopped waiting for anyone to notice. Imagine this, a chessboard, pieces scattered, the enemy ready to strike. The board is tilted against you. Everything looks hopeless. But instead of panicking, you sit back, arms crossed, and smile. That one smile ruins their entire confidence, because no one smiles in a losing position unless they already planned the ending. That was you, game after game after game. Or picture this scene. They're standing over your life like architects reviewing a building that shouldn't exist. You built floors they didn't authorize, bridges they said were impossible, rooms they thought you'd never reach. They check the blueprint, blank. They flip the page, still blank. They ask, who helped build this? You smile, because you know the truth. They're looking for a blueprint that only exists inside your scars. They're terrified of that smile because it proves something they never wanted to admit. You learned everything they tried to hide from you. You unlocked doors they swore you'd never find. You figured out systems they thought were too complex for you. You rose in silence, without witnesses, without applause, without safety nets. And now your smile is the only evidence that you've been operating on a level they have no access to. Even worse, they recognize that smile. They've seen it before, but not on someone like you. It's the smile of someone who knows something the room doesn't. It's the smile of someone who already walked through fire and doesn't fear the smoke anymore. It's the smile of someone who doesn't beg to be chosen because they finally chose themselves. That's why they panic. That's why they whisper. That's why they obsess. They've been trying to identify the teacher who trained you, the system that grew you, the mastermind that upgraded you, but nothing fits because all their guesses come from a world you outgrew. You evolved past their imagination. They ask, who sharpened them? Who taught them to move like this? Who gave them this mindset? Who helped them build all this so fast? Here's the truth that burns their lungs. You didn't learn from a person. You learned from pressure. You learned from heartbreak. You learned from moments where life shoved you into corners people like them never had to fight their way out of. Pain became your mentor. Isolation became your instructor. The universe became your silent coach, pushing you forward every time you thought you were done. Imagine this final scene. They're watching you walk into a room, quiet, calm, with that same unsettling smile. People turn, energy shifts, and even the ones who don't know your story can feel something powerful radiating off you. And the ones who do know your past, they freeze, because your smile confirms something they feared. You didn't rise because someone carried you. You rose because you learned how to carry yourself. Your smile is the summary of every battle you survived. Your smile is the proof of every truth they tried to hide. Your smile is the end of their investigation and the beginning of your legend. They can't decode it because it wasn't built for them. It wasn't built for the world. It wasn't built to prove anything. It was built inside you, alone, when there was no one else left. Let them keep digging. Let them keep guessing. Let them keep whispering, because every time you smile, it reminds them the answer they're looking for is closer than they think, and terrifyingly enough for them, it's been staring at them the whole time.